In the news this week, experts debate whether bushfires are caused by global warming.
The McDonald's court case draws to a conclusion after the final hearing.
And on Western Perspective, the youth revolution in local government. Why council politics is no longer an old man's game.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Lund and Daniel Stanislaw.
Good evening. Global warming might not be one of the causes of bushfires. That's the view from a local specialist in bushfire prevention. It's a controversial opinion that has triggered more heat in discussion than the bushfire itself. Cecilia Faustina begins our coverage.
With the rainfall declining by 15 to 20% since 1970 in the southwest, it had been thought as a contributing factor for bushfires. Bushfire Front Chairman and bushfire specialist, however, said climate change was not the main cause of bushfires and felt scientists should focus more on important issues such as efforts to reduce them.
We have had in WA for the last several years below average rainfall, but that's not unusual. Drought is an issue, a factor, but I don't regard climate change as being the main reason why Australia is currently experiencing a bushfire crisis.
Climate change scientists, though, said climate change was a great factor towards the cause of bushfire and saw higher drying conditions as leading to factors which causes bushfires.
The evidence has been out for many years now about the interaction between fuel, drying environments and ignition sources leading to bushfires.
UN scientists had recently stated 2015 as leading up to be the warmest year on record, with the year 2011 to 2015 as the warmest in 5 years. Cecilia Faustina, WAMN News.
The final day of the hearing between McDonald's and Applecross residents over the fast food restaurant's new 24-hour restaurant in the suburb has come to a close. Reporter Nelson Liu has a summary.
Lawyers for McDonald's and Applecross residents presented their final arguments to the State Administrative Tribunal over McDonald's proposal to build a 24-hour two-storey restaurant on the corner of Canning Highway and Reynolds Road. The concerns put forth include safety to residents, amenity and high traffic levels, as well as planning and acoustic aspects in the development. Among the crucial aspects is the Planning Scheme 6 strategy, which the City of Melville has put forward for approval.
Well, the most important point is under the draft scheme, a drive-through facility is an ex-use, which means that there's no way that the drive-through could go through. And if that's the case, McDonald's won't go there.
The outcome will be determined within 3 months. Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
WA's mental health policies are being reformed, but not everyone may be up to the idea. Mental Health Minister Helen Morton responded to the Australian Medical Association's concerns over the government's move to give mental patients and their families a bigger say on decision-making. The new act will take place on the 30th of November.
You know, they're a bit stuck in the past in some way. They would rather see the old approach that didn't involve people with a mental illness and their families to the degree that the new act will require them to.
Western Australia's Avocado Industry celebrates its success with its Rolling Stone Festival this weekend. The industry is experiencing significant growth, producing 24,000 tonnes in 2014 to 2015, from 18,575 tonnes in 2012 to 2013, injecting more than $150 million into the state's economy last financial year.
We're about 50% of the way through our season this year, which has been a very good season for growers. There'll be about 20,000 tonne of avocados this year produced, which is probably somewhere around 80 million actual pieces of avocados.
Indonesia has accused the Australian government of towing an asylum seeker boat back to the open sea after destroying it. The country's Foreign Office has expressed concerns over the issue, blaming Australia for taking unilateral action instead of working with its neighbours. At least 60 migrants from India, Nepal and Bangladesh were found stranded in Timor Island this week. Immigration Minister Peter Dutton has refused to comment.
Turkey has called for unity against Islamic State after the country allegedly shot down a Russian fighter jet near the Syrian border this week. Turkey's president stressed that the country will continue to work with Russia to reduce tensions in the region. He also emphasised that the attack on the jet is not an act against a specific country. Meanwhile, Russia has imposed retaliatory measures against Turkey's economy as a result of the incident.
And finally tonight, reporters have their fair share of photobombs throughout their careers, and it happened to our reporter Nelson Liu. In order to finish this week's bulletin with a lighter side, take a look at this.
The No to McDonald's Facebook group has gathered major community support.
No Maccas! No Maccas!
Didn't saw that one coming.
No, I didn't either.
So, you know, why don't we actually have an insurance when it comes to photobombing?
Would have pretty high premiums.
That would cost a lot of money, that's right. So now, before we leave you, Danny, this is your final bulletin for the year because you're going for a big Christmas holiday.
Yeah, but don't worry, you'll be in safe hands because Carly Smarter and Ali Harper will be keeping my chair warm.
I look forward to work with you then.
Sounds good.
Okay, no worries. Those are the stories you need to know this week. We have the latest news on our website.
Good evening.
Good night.
Good evening. I'm Cecilia Faustina and welcome to Western Perspective. Governments have traditionally been dominated by older, seasoned political veterans. But with many political stalwarts moving on, their younger counterparts have been ready to replace them in their local communities.